Mr. Harris here, and welcome to a new video of a new chapter, Chapter 5. In this chapter, we'll be talking about what is energy. Okay, so, first off, let's imagine that we're cooking a dish. So, over here, I want to ask you what different types of energies do you see? Or what different forms of energies do you see? So, for example, when the food becomes hot, what form of energy does it absorb? Just think about it. You don't need to answer me right now. Just think about it. What kind of energy source is used for cooking the food? Think about it again. Need to answer me. So let's talk about energy. I'll come back to the previous two questions later on. Energy is all around us, basically. Everyone and everything basically require energy. Say, for example, we, us humans, we need energy to walk. Cars need energy to move. Light bulbs, they need energy to glow. Animals and plants, they need energy to grow. Okay, two different words, glow and grow. Don't mix them up. So let's talk about some different forms of energy. So first off, we have light energy. Say for example, the sun, a candle, some lamps, they all give out light energy. And maybe some of you are quite smart and you could figure out that apart from light energy, they may also give out heat or thermal energy. Okay, we'll come back to that later on. So when an object glows brighter, not grows again, glows, more light energy is given out. So here it is, thermal energy, or sometimes we may also say heat energy. So thermal energy could come from the sun, for example, when we're cooking, the flame, and also electric iron. So I have one more question over here actually. The iron, what other form of energy is present over here? Yes, there is also electrical energy. Again, we'll come back to that later on. Okay, next one. When the object becomes hotter, the more thermal energy it is giving out. Okay, so for example, if you increase the flame level over here, the more thermal energy is given out. Now, the third form of energy we'll be talking about is sound energy. So, for example, when you're hitting a drum, when we're speaking, when we're singing, all of these actions would give out sound energy. And apart from that, actually, when we go back over here, is sound energy also present over here? Yes. Sometimes when we're cooking, especially when, for example, when we're using a pressure cooker, when your mother or your father is using a pressure cooker, you'll hear a lot of sound as well. So there, sound energy is also present. So when an object it produces a louder sound, more sound energy is given out. All right, the fourth type of energy we have over here is called kinetic energy. So kinetic energy basically has to do with movement. Say for example, there's a boy walking, running, there's a bird flying. So all of these involve kinetic energy. So when an object it moves faster, or when a living thing moves faster, the more kinetic energy it has. So over here you have a cheetah over here. Of course, we know it is one of the fastest animals on Earth. All right, the fifth type of energy, maybe this might be new to you, it is called potential energy. So for potential energy, it is when an object is able to move to a higher position. Say, for example, you have a volleyball over here, it moves to a higher position, or even when a person moves upwards, moves to a higher position, that is called potential energy. So when there is more potential energy, the object would move higher. Okay? So over here recently, if you're paying attention, there was a SpaceX launch. So there was a spaceship going to outer space. So just like how, or a rocket, for example, when it moves to a higher position, it also gains more potential energy. Some other examples are, for example, when you have a spring It stores potential energy, and when you're compressing it, compressing meaning you're moving it inwards, and also you could stretch it, which means you're moving it outwards, it would also store potential energy. Okay? The sixth type of energy is called electrical energy. So very fairly simple. For example, fans, televisions, you'll have a lot of different examples of electrical energy. Okay, I just thought this was a real cat, but no, it's inside the TV. So electrical energy, it is obtained from power stations. So the power supply comes from power stations. Sometimes electrical energies could come from dry cells. So dry cells are basically batteries. Okay, so batteries can be used in torch, or for example in your alarm clock. The seventh type of energy I like to talk about is chemical energy. So a large amount of chemical energy is stored in fuels. So for example, wood, it can be a source of fuel. Petrol, of course, is a source of fuel. So back in ancient times, wood was a very, very vital, I would say, element because, as you can see in the picture over here, people would use to set up fire using wood. And through this fire, you can first of, when you're burning the wood, you can have a form of light energy. Okay, so people are able to see. And second, people are, especially in winter, they're able to keep warm through thermal energy. So over here in this example, you'll see that one form of energy, originally which was chemical energy, is being converted into two other different forms of energy. So from chemical energy to light energy and thermal energy. Moreover, food and dry cells, they also store chemical energy. As I mentioned, dry cells, they're batteries. Food, they also store chemical energy. The chemical energy in food, it is in order to keep us warm. So when we, of course, eat bread or any other type of food, they keep us warm. And also it is to help us carry out various activities. Because as we all know, food would give us energy to do certain types of activities. Whereas in dry cells, the chemical energy in dry cells is actually converted to electrical energy for our various daily life purposes. So to wrap up, we've learned about 7 different types of energies, or 7 different forms of energy. We have light energy, thermal energy, sound energy, kinetic energy, potential energy, electrical energy, and finally chemical energy. Okay, let's go to the next part, the units of energy. So you've probably noticed, for example, you can go grab your bread or any other food item you have at home, go to the backside where you can see the nutrition information. You'll find out that there's a certain unit of energy. Sometimes it is kilocalories or sometimes it is kilojoules. Okay, so there are two common units of energy. The first one is joules. Okay, the unit is J. And the second one is kilocalories. So kcal over here. So roughly around 1 kilocalories is around 4,200 joules. So as I mentioned earlier, the joules and kilocalories, they are the units of energy. Okay? These two will come up quite often. So just to let us know, there are two common types of units of energy. So now let's wrap up this part with some checkpoint questions. Question 1, so when the man swims over here, he has what type of energy? What form of energy? Yes, it has to do with movement. He has kinetic energy. All right, pay attention to the spelling, Kinetic. All right, the second part, what type of energy is stored in the bread, which provides the boy over here with energy for his activities? Of course, as I told you, in food, there is chemical energy. Number 3, As the ball flies upwards, so over here, it gains what type of energy? Remember, what type of energy is present when an object moves at a higher position? Yes, that is potential energy. Okay, Potential, potential energy. And finally, the sun over here, it gives out what types of energy? What forms of energy does it give out? All right, the first of course, it gives out light, so light energy, and second, thermal energy. All right, so that wraps up the first part of this unit, Unit 5. So we've talked about the different forms of energy, the units of energy. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.